And I'm Dr. Paige Wages.
Welcome to the Healthy Pet Show tonight. We're here to answer questions about you and your pets at home, or about your pets at home, not you.
Good.
Sometimes they overlap.
You never know.
Right. So, but about your pets, your cats and dogs, and we have Paula Lunsford with us. Dr. Wages, we introduce our relationship with Dr.
I was like,
Paula.
you just did. No. Paula works with Second Chance Pet Adoptions, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what it's like to work with a rescue and about some of the programs with Second Chance. But if you have a question about your pet at home, the number to call is 996-6775. Don't forget the area code. It's 919-996-6775.
I volunteer with Second Chance Pet Adoptions, and we're a local rescue group. We've been in the Raleigh area for over 20 years, and we have cats and dogs in our program. We have a couple of our animals with us tonight. The dog we have is Lana, who's sitting in Dr. Wages' lap. A beautiful
Really
girl
cute.
who is available for adoption. And I have in my lap a sweet little kitten, Sonic, and Dr. Joe has Sapphire. These two are brothers and sister. And I've been volunteering with Second Chance since 2003. It's rewarding. It can be tough work too. I enjoy it. I volunteer with both the cats and the dogs, and it's nothing I'd rather be doing.
How did you get involved in the rescue?
Well, I was looking for a cat to adopt. I wanted a male cat, and I heard that Second Chance was going to have their cats at the cat show. So I went to the cat show to look for a cat, and there was a female cat there that didn't have a foster home, and they were looking for a foster home for the cat, and I ended up not adopting a cat, but going home with a foster cat. So, and everything just kind of took off from there. So I became a foster parent first.
Yeah. And Second Chance has really grown over these past 20, probably about 25 years.
Yes.
Because the very first three ladies in Second Chance, I remember when they used to go to the SPCA and pick out an animal and pay the adoption fee, and then come out and get it spayed and neutered and vaccinated, and then readopt it. And that was quite a new scenario back then, because the SPCA actually started to, at one point they got really concerned, this lady's adopting all these animals, what's she doing with them? And after a little while they realized what was going on, and now the relationship with the SPCA and other organizations is really a lot stronger, and that they'll actually call certain, particularly breed rescues, and probably Second Chance every now and then if they have a pet they think is really in need and honorable, or the one that would be in a good home. So.
Yes, absolutely.
But you don't have to pull too many animals from the shelter anymore, do you?
No, there's a lot of them on the street.
And sometimes you get some on the doorstep too, right?
Yes, some on the doorstep. We were blessed with 3 cats recently on our doorstep, and then occasionally through a vet connection we get 8 puppies. One like Lana.
But I'm real sweet.
She is very sweet. She's a very sweet girl.
Yeah. So here, I have a question. So if somebody finds a litter of kittens or something stray, and what do they do? Like if they can't keep them?
The best way to get in touch with us is to go to our website, which is www.secondchancenc.org, and there's a link on there for if you found a stray animal. There's one for cats and one for dogs. Fill out the form, and someone will contact you usually within 48 hours to get information about your stray and see what we can do, and if we have room in the program, we'll try to accommodate. Our biggest challenge is not enough foster homes, because all of our dogs are in foster homes, our kittens are in foster homes, and a lot of our adult cats live at the adoption center. So, anyone interested in being a foster home, there's also an application on the website for that. That's a big need we have. And if we don't have enough foster homes, it hinders us from taking in the homeless animals.
Well, and being a foster is a great opportunity for that family that thinks they might want a dog or a cat, just to foster it short term, usually 6 or 8 weeks?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Usually, sometimes it can be longer.
Okay, but to take one in as a foster with that commitment, and then determine how well the puppy or kitten fits in the household.
Right. That's true. That's a good idea.
Yeah, if they're younger kids, like tiny puppies like these guys were, it could be a longer commitment, because we do keep them in our program until they're adopted. because we are a no-kill shelter. We'll keep them in the program until they're adopted, but it's very rewarding. And we will furnish some of the supplies for you. We'll furnish the food for the animals. We take care of the vet care, obviously, with you guys, so that's taken care of. We'll also furnish you with, like for the cats and the dogs, beds, if they need beds, collars, leashes, some of the basic animal needs. So basically, we count on you for the home and the love and getting them socialized.
Well, it's great for pets to be in a foster home before they get adopted out, because they do have that socialization. If they've just been taken to a shelter and stayed in a crate or a kennel for a long period of time, they may not be very social.
You learn a lot about their personality, and then you know what kind of home they're going to fit into, what's a good situation for the animal. It works very well having them in foster care.
What are your typical adoption fees for cats and dogs?
Our dogs are $195 plus a $10 microchip registration fee. Cats vary. We do have a pair rate if you adopt two, which is always a nice thing to do with a cat if you can, to adopt two so they have a buddy. Like these two are big buddies. It's $150 for the pair. For our young cats, our young kittens, our rate is $95, and our older cats, our rate is $85.
Now that may seem like a lot of money just to take in a stray when you can find one on the street, but keep in mind that these animals, the cats and the dogs, have been spayed or neutered.
Yes.
They've gotten the rabies vaccine, they've gotten a distemper vaccine, parvo in the dogs, Bordetella in the dogs,
Dewormed.
feline distemper and leukemia testing in the kittens, deworming, and so a lot of your initial expense that you would have when you adopted a dog or a cat has already been taken care of. So it's a good value to adopt from.
It is a good value.
An organization that has done all of that work.
And the foster homes, with the cats, of course, they're litter box trained. Our foster homes do try to teach them to use a scratching post. Of course, some cats are more cooperative than others, but we do teach them to use a scratching post. And puppies, when they're of age, we do house train. So your puppy may or may not be house trained, but we will make an effort to house train the puppy.
Lap train
Puppies.
This one's real sweet in the lap.
She's a very
I just love
sweet.
this one.
She loves being snuggled and held.
So tell me the story of the kittens. Where did they come from?
These guys, their mom was trapped to be taken to catnip to be spayed. She's a feral cat in a colony, and the night she was trapped, when the trapper went out to check the trap, the mama cat had kittens. So she didn't get taken to catnip that day. And once they were old enough to leave mom, the cats came into the program and became my fosters. There's a group of 4. And they had their surgery recently, and they're going to be hitting our website this week, available for adoption.
Now you just mentioned, Paula, catnip, which is sort of a subsidiary of Second Chance. Tell us about catnip. What does it do?
Catnip offers spays and neuters for feral cats and colonies. They focus often on colonies, but if you have a cat who's not social enough to be in a home and be a pet, but needs a spay and neuter, catnip can help you with that. They have their spay days once a month, usually the 3rd Sunday of the month, and they also have a website you can go to, and they will help you for a very small donation. It's not a fee, it is a donation, with getting those cats spayed and neutered. They also have traps they can loan to help folks that need to trap the animals, and they will help you work with your colony to get them spayed and neutered to help that population control in the colony.
And this is we're talking about catnip is basically running a broad spectrum trap, neuter, release program.
Absolutely, yes.
So they trap the feral cats, they get neutered, and then they're released back into the same area.
Yes.
And if you've ever noticed feral cats with a part of their ear missing, a straight line across the ear, is it the right or left ear?
Right.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's right.
Yeah.
I do the right.
I think it's right.
It varies from organization to organization
Yes.
sometimes. But anyway, usually they'll trim the ear, cut the tip off of it, and that indicates that pet's already been spayed or neutered. So if they get trapped, then they don't need to be taken in for spaying or neutering. And I was out of town the past week, most of it, but I thought I saw something in the newspaper about Wake County recognizing TNR programs now?
Yes.
That's big news.
That is very big news, very big news. So that's going to help a lot. And Catnip was instrumental with helping with that, along with some other organizations getting that passed and pulled through. So that's going to help a lot.
What was it, so that everybody else knows what you guys are talking about?
Okay.
Well, it had to go through legislation. I don't know all the details.
Well, basically, in the past, the trap, neuter, release programs were not in compliance with animal control guidelines. Animal control guidelines are, my understanding is that they are supposed to control the stray animal population and prevent rabies in the area, and so they were looking at feral cat colonies as stray animals. So therefore, even if somebody had them all spayed and neutered and vaccinated and was feeding them on a regular basis and caring for them, they would potentially come in and trap those animals and then take them to their intake facility or adoption center and put them up for adoption, therefore just removing the population. And now, with the change in the guidelines, they'll recognize a colony and they won't trap the colony, which is good.
Yes.
That is good.
Very good.
And part of the people say, well, why do you trap them and let them back out? You want to go into the concept behind trap, neuter, release a little bit?
These animals usually that are participate in the TNR program, they're not pet quality, and none of us like to think of that about an animal, but they're not going to sit in our laps like these guys are. They're not going to accept human touch. They've not had it. They don't know what it feels like to be petted and loved as a pet, and they're trapped in their colony and then re-released, and by trapping them and releasing them, getting them spayed and neutered, you stop that population because the cats multiply quickly. You probably know the numbers better than I do, how quickly they can multiply, but if you've got a cat having 6 kittens a couple times a year and you've got, say, 10 or 12 females in that colony
a lot of kitty cats.
reproducing, it's going to grow very quickly, and that frequently happens in the colonies. And with the TNR, you can stop that reproduction, and reduce that population.
And what you just said, reduce the population over time, because it's sort of counterintuitive, because when you think about it initially, go in there and trap them and take them away, and that's how you reduce the population. The reality is, though, when you trap a colony of cats, then other cats start to move into that area, and so they'll be reproducing and building up numbers too. However, if we keep a stable population, other cats don't move into the area,
Right.
and so that within that geographical neighborhood for the cats, the population becomes static, and over time it starts to decrease due to natural attrition.
Good word.
So, if you, just to remind you, if you do have a call, the number to call is 919-996-6775.
Now say it without looking at the paper. He will learn it by the end of the year, I'm sure. You have till December, Dr. Joe. All right, wait, we didn't talk about the puppy.
Okay.
Or do you have another
Puppy
cat
story?
thing?
Do you want
Go ahead.
the puppy story?
Yeah, what's the story of the puppy?
Lana has a very interesting story. We got a call at Second Chance from Dr. Sue McCarris, one of the Care First doctors, about a English bulldog who was very pregnant and headed back to Puerto Rico. And so we got in touch with the folks who had the mama dog, and she started having her puppies in a hotel room. And myself and one of our other volunteers helped the mama have her puppies in a hotel room, unknown. The manager had no clue what was going on in his hotel. But mama ended up having 8 puppies. We took the puppies, and this is a bottle-fed puppy.
We had the
believe it
last
or not.
puppy, though. We had the last one with us.
Yes, the last one was born at Care First. But Lana and her siblings are bottle-fed puppies. We fed them until they were old enough to eat on their own, and 5 of the group have been adopted. Lana does not have any applications on her at all.
Oh, that's real
So
sad. Look
she
at this
is
face,
still looking
everybody.
for a
Oh.
She is looking for a home.
Paula, you mentioned bottle feeding, and I think we sort of romanticize the idea of bottle feeding a baby or a baby dog
It's
or a baby
hard work.
kitten, and that you just pick them up every now and then and give them the bottle. But it's not that simple. There's a lot of effort to it. It's a big commitment.
It is a big
to
commitment.
bottle feed a puppy. How frequently do we need to bottle feed?
Well,
puppy?
in the beginning, we were having to feed every 2 hours, which was...
That means all night long.
Yes, all night long. We had people working in shifts, setting timers, and with a group of 8, it was a lot of work because not only did we have to feed them, we had to make them go potty. And some of them didn't always want to go. So it was a lot of work. And then as they got a little older, we were able to stretch that out to 3 and 4 hours. And of course, by then they were eating more, so it was taking longer to feed 8 puppies with the bottle. And then eventually we started introducing a little canned wet food to the diet, and they still wanted, some of them did not want to let go of their bottle. And then we farmed them out a little bit into some of our foster homes to separate the group to kind of ease the burden. But it was a big job, big job. And yeah, all night long, you're getting up during the night feeding 8 puppies.
A common question that people have when they're trying to bottle feed a puppy is, how much should a puppy drink every 2 hours?
Well, we didn't do a whole lot of measuring with these guys. We filled the bottle up and let them eat until they were full.
No wonder it was so huge. Oh my gosh.
We let them eat until they were full. We did kind of have a minimum that we expected them to eat. When they were real little, we were expecting, just basing it on kind of some things we had read and what they were eating. I think they were eating about 15 mLs. They were hungry little suckers. But then it increased. Some of them did not want to take to the bottle right away. Some of them we did end up having to syringe a little bit.
And 15 mLs is like a tablespoon of food.
Right.
Yeah, they weren't eating a whole lot in the beginning, but over time, we were having to refill bottles and give to them because they were wanting more and more food.
Okay.
And it's not easy. I mean, there's
No,
a
it's
risk
not
of
easy.
aspiration pneumonia,
Yes,
which
and
we
we
had
did have that.
2 of those, and I mean, there's a lot involved in.
There is. Yeah, we did have 2 that had the aspiration pneumonia, but they're chunky little babies now. You'd never know.
She's real cute. Taking a little
Very
nappy nap
cute.
here.
She's very cute.
Take me home real bad.
Well, she is very calm, as are these kittens too. They're very calm little kittens. Everybody's well socialized, as you can see, and so if you are interested in adding to your family, look up Second Chance and put in an application.
Yeah. Yeah, I would highly recommend this. She's a good snuggle bug.
She is a good snuggle bug.
Yeah.
This is my snuggle bug at home here. He's
So
a
how
snuggle.
much time a week do you put in to rescue? Because then you have a real job too.
I do have a real job. I have a paying job. Second Chance is my volunteer job. I put in at least 20 plus hours, at least. It's a lot. I probably put in more than most people, but I like what I'm doing, so I tend to really go at it.
It's not a bad thing.
not
The
a bad
animals
thing.
say thank you very much, Paula.
Good. Yeah, I have fosters in my home, and then I do stuff at the center too. So yeah.
But and just so that people don't have a misperception out there, you're putting in 20 hours because you're really passionate about it
I'm
and what
very
you're doing.
passionate about it.
Most of the volunteers are putting in.
We have people who maybe do 2 or 3 a week.
Okay.
Work at center shift or help at an event. No, I'm kind of overboard.
Okay.
Because I'm very passionate about it. We certainly don't expect anyone to put in those kinds of hours. But yeah, I enjoy it, and I tend to
Okay.
go overboard.
You just don't want to deter anybody from
Oh, no,
volunteering.
right. Good point, good point.
No.
But you just mentioned an event, and you have events, you have a big event coming
We
up.
do have a big event coming up. We have our largest fundraiser of the year coming up, our 12th annual auction for the animals, coming up on August 10th at the Royal Banquet Hall in Raleigh. I understand that's across the street from Meredith College. And it starts at 6:30. We are selling tickets on our website, so you can go there and order your tickets, or we will have them at our adoption center for sale. And we're taking donations of items for that event, and there will be food, heavy hors d'oeuvres provided at the event. And from what I understand, the caterer is excellent. The food will be very tasty.
Excellent.
It is a lot of fun. I've been, the past couple years, I've attended and meet a lot of people that love animals.
Mm-hmm.
And you also get to meet some of the animals.
Mm-hmm.
And then the auction is fun.
It's
you know,
fun.
silent auctions, if they have a piece of paper out there, you go around and write down how much you're willing to bid for it, and so like eBay in the moment, I guess is what it's like.
I love silent auctions.
You go back and check your bid to depending on how badly you want that item, and
Exactly.
that is always a lot of fun. see people scrambling around at the last minute changing their bids.
And we will have a silent auction. We'll also have a live auction. There'll be some items there, and then we're going to have what's called a Chinese auction. I don't quite understand the concept of that one, but we're having a Chinese auction too.
Oh, neat. Well, it sounds like a good
Lots
thing.
of activities.
And then we have a raffle, and I know there's a 42-inch television with an entertainment center involved with that, and I'm not sure what the other items are, but several items being raffled off.
Cool.
If someone wants to donate an item, are there any restrictions on what type of item they donate?
Preferably new
Okay.
or gently used, but we're looking for anything. Gift baskets work really well. Of course, if you have a vacation home you're willing to donate to let folks spend some time in your vacation home, that works real well.
Okay. All right. Well, we've got a call coming in. Let's go to our phone lines here. Dr. Wages, can you reach up there?
Hello, you're on the Healthy Pet Show.
Hey, I got a question. We saw a fox walking down the sidewalk on our street, real casual, and we started wondering if we could tell if he was rabid. Is there anything that you should look for in an animal?
What time of day was it that you saw the fox?
It was probably about 10 at night.
Okay, a normal time for foxes to be out. So that's the first thing you want to think about when you're, wondering is this animal rabid or not. Foxes are pretty nocturnal, and so they're going to be out during the night. And so I'm not so concerned about that. If it was 10 a.m. in the morning, I'd be more concerned.
Yeah.
And so a nighttime exhibition is fine. As far as symptoms, if you really do have a rabid animal around, there's two different forms of rabies, and a lot of times we typically think about the Cujo rabies, where you've got the dog foaming at the mouth and trying to attack everything that walks by, and that's called the furious form. So certainly, if you see a fox that's acting aggressive, you want to go the other way. But the other form is called the dumb form, and what happens there is the fox is just meandering around like, come and pet me. You can, you think that you can go over and touch them and rub them, and they are cute, and so you don't want to do that though, because as soon as you get close enough to them, then that's when they become aggressive and they turn around and bite you. And
usually they're not afraid of people. Like
Right.
normally, if you see one and they see you, they kind of run. But if there's a chance that they're not scared of you, that could be a sign of rabies.
And other symptoms would be, especially if they're in the neurologic stage of the disease, just stumbling, falling, walking in circles, just not motoring around like you normally would expect a healthy animal to do. Now, the other thing that is out there, raccoons carry rabies too, and raccoons can also get canine distemper, which it's a neurologic disease in its advanced stages and acts a lot like a rabid animal too. But living in the city, in the Raleigh urban area, foxes and raccoons, those type of animals, have adapted very well to living in amongst neighborhoods. Okay, and then and we also have in this area coyotes now.
Great.
And so coyotes are larger, and they can carry rabies. They can have distemper and parvo and things like that too. It's if you see a larger animal, most coyotes I think are about 40 or 50 pounds, with a long bushy tail, and you don't want to pet them either. Okay.
Okay.
Do you think she should call animal control about the fox?
We did, and they said they would bring a trap. If they put one anywhere, I don't know where it is, but I guess they did.
Yeah, and the other thing too is most of the times if they're showing signs of rabies, so they're kind of acting weird, normally they'll be dead within 10 days.
Right.
So I had a raccoon that was out in the middle of the day, like noon, near my house, and I saw it one day and never saw it again, and I assumed it was dead at that point because it was not afraid of me.
Yeah.
I guess
This one was just strolling down the sidewalk like he should have had a tuxedo and a martini.
That's his sidewalk that time of the day. You just don't know it.
We'll get.
He got right up across the street from us and kind of glanced over at us and turned up this driveway and walked into these people's backyard.
Well, you know, they don't have a lot of natural predators right now. We are their unnatural predator. Our cars are, at least, and so they're very relaxed. If they don't feel threatened, you know, by people, it doesn't mean they're rabid. It's just that, you know, they're not threatened by us.
Right.
So.
Wow.
But you did the right thing calling animal control and just let them be aware of the situation. So.
No, that's good.
So.
I can't think of anything else to ask about him because it was dark. You didn't really get to see too much of him.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling about him. And
all right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
Bye bye. So.
Well, you know, rabies is here, so it's important to make sure your dogs are vaccinated.
Right.
And your cats.
Right, and that is, you know, because of the wildlife in the city. That's a very good reason for vaccinating your pets against rabies.
Yeah. Well, Paula, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you.
We appreciate you telling us a little bit about Second Chance and all your furry friends.
Yes, thank you.
And again, the banquet is, and silent auction for the animals is going to be August the 10th at 6 p.m. at the Royal Banquet Hall.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll look forward to see you next time on the Healthy Pet Show.
Thank you.
Cats, cats, cats. I love plenty of cats. Big ones and small ones, short ones and tall ones. They all make me laugh. Cats, 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 cats. They're all I adore. Though I've got a million, I'd make it a trillion. There's always room for more. Cats, 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 cats. How I love a crowd. Skinny and fat ones, orange and black ones, love the sound of me.